Oh boy, here we go again. Later that evening. Yet again, I found myself incapable of sleeping, so I wandered quietly into the courtyard. Okay, this time is your own damn fault, Chizuru. This guy has been hounding me every evening. I know, I'll go out and wander alone in the courtyard. I'm sure nothing could happen. Girl. You're just a sucker for punishment like me. I caught the silhouette of a familiar face in the corner of my eye, and immediately I gulped. Hi! As soon as I spotted him, I felt all the blood drain in my body. I need to run away as discreetly as possible. You know what? I will give him some props. He never comes and gets her in her room, so at least he has, like, some boundaries still. This is our own dang fault. If he realized I was outside alone, then there was no doubt he would pressure me into cooperating with his research for the Fury Core. I spun on my heel, attempting to tiptoe away from him quietly and sneak back to my room when... I am unclear with whatever it is you are referencing. Mind repeating it once more? Harada? Harada? When I heard Harada's name, I froze. I carefully turned my head to peek over my shoulder. How? Oh. Wow. He acted immediately. He's like, stay away from my girl. There's gonna be trouble. Nice. Nice, nice. I can dig it.
Sure, I'll say as many times as you need me to. Whatever business you think she has with the Fury Core is done, as of today. So, stop harassing her. I don't like to butt my head into places where it doesn't belong, especially with the Fury Core, but... frankly, your behavior lately has been inexcusable.
Harada's brows were intimidatingly furrowed. I had never seen him so serious before. Animosity radiated from his glare fixed on Sanan's face, and even from a distance it gave me the chills. Sanan, however, was in no way fazed by Harada's veiled threat, and instead he ignored his accusation. I need not remind you of the precarious situation we are currently facing. As we speak, the Imperial Army has amassed manpower and the technology far surpassing our own. At this rate, defeat is all but assured. If we seek to level the playing field, then our only option is to strengthen the Fury Core. That girl possesses demon blood that may prove to be the key to our victory. Sanan offered a logical rebuttal, but Harada was having none of it.
Sanan, are you listening to yourself? Stop treating her like some soldier who's joined us under the pretense of helping us win this war. She's just a normal girl who's gotten sucked into all this. You can't expect to treat her like an object and draw blood from her whenever you please.
Dang! Ooh! Get hecked all the other guys that were Furies. I mean, she gave her blood to them, and they never tried to take it from her, so that's not really true. This only applies to Sanan. But dang, he's like, she's just a girl who's got caught up in all this nonsense. Leave her alone. I love you, Sano, so much. Such a good husbando.
Is this what it comes down to for us to stand any chance of winning this thing?
Has the memory of Inoue and Yamazaki escaped you so easily? Do you mean to suggest that their sacrifice was in vain? That our other men should share in their fate?
Don't you dare bring the dead into this. That's a new low, even for you. All I'm asking is for you to look into your heart. Look, I know you'll do whatever it takes to win. You know what the stakes are, and I have no desire to stop you from doing what needs to be done. It's just... doesn't the thought of risking the life of an innocent woman bother you in the slightest? For God's sake, man, the poor girl's been locked up under house arrest for 4 goddamn years. But not once has she ever made a fuss about it. Even till now, she'll break her back doing everything she can for us, making sure every mouth is fed. Ask yourself, what's the point in putting this girl through all that pain and suffering? Is it your experiments?
Harada's pointed interrogation spurred Sanan into silence, and he lowered his gaze to the floor.
She is a demon. Cut her and she bleeds until her body seals the wound faster than it would for either of us. You have seen it yourself, I believe.
Sanan, you damn well better look me in the eye when you speak to me. She might be a demon, but that doesn't mean she isn't a fucking human being.
Dang! Go, Sano! Woo! I'm just gonna be his cheer squad off behind this pillar here. Go, Sano! You tell him!
Is this what we've become? Is this what we've supposedly been working towards all this time? Is this how low the Shinsengumi has fallen?
Sanan didn't answer. He brushed aside Harada's hand on his shoulder and continued to avert his eyes irritably. And then... Hi! Alright, so we moved on from the picture. I thought maybe he saw me when he averted his eyes.
Furies serve one purpose: to kill. Their value is measured solely by their potency in the battlefield. If the means with which we can achieve victory are kept from us, then our existence is null and void. How we feel will always be foreign to you. You have the luxury of living, even if you leave the Shinsengumi.
Dang. I mean, that's a valid point too. Alright, that's a good mic drop moment for Sanan to just leave. Sanan bit into his lips bitterly, turning without another word towards the front door. He depressively sauntered away from Harada towards the Fury Corps residence. After letting out a heavy sigh, Harada slumped his shoulders, wallowing in frustration. I could only imagine how exhausted he must have been.
It's not that your way of life is foreign to me.
He scratched his scalp gently, muttering to himself amidst the ring of wind chimes in the background. He rotated his head before starting to walk in the direction where I'd been hiding in plain sight. What should I do? If I didn't find a place to hide, he would realize that I had eavesdropped upon his entire conversation. I panicked, quickly scanning the area for a place to hide when... Heisuke? Nani? Chizuru, this way! Heisuke yelled out to me in a whisper, beckoning me with his hand through the darkness. Is he spying on Sanan and I'm spying on Harada? Amazing. I sprinted towards him, ducking down to hide beside him in the shadows. Luckily, I got there just in time, and Harada hadn't noticed us as he walked back into the compounds. Thanks, boy. He's gone. Yeah. Thanks, Heisuke. So, how are you feeling? Not... Our first question is, how are you feeling? Not, what the heck are you doing here, too? I'm doing fine. See? Why? Did Sanan say something to you? Well... You told him right away? Alright. I mean, she got encouraged by Sano, I guess, so that makes sense. But I'm like, really? Sano had to do a lot to get us to open up to him. After contemplating to myself, I decided to tell him the foreboding news that Sanan had shared with me. Sanan said that? I mean, sure. From time to time, the side effects become a little much to deal with on my body, but... It's never so bad that I need you to become a test subject for his experiments. Oh. As I had expected, Sanan had indeed only been using Heisuke as an excuse to justify performing experiments on me. Sorry, Chizuru. Huh? For not noticing that Sanan's been weird lately. Everything that Sano told Sanan... that's stuff I'd been meaning to tell Sanan myself. Either way, I was the one who agreed to drink the water of life, which means that whatever responsibility comes with it, I accept. So, there's no reason for you to put yourself through all that crap for the sake of his research.
Heisuke.
Few others were able to warm my heart as easily as Heisuke could with his genial disposition. Aww, giving me all the Heisuke feels again. Both Harada and Heisuke had this in spades, always seeming to pay close attention to my feelings. But man, Sana always steals the show, huh? I just can't compete with that. Huh. Heisuke let out a small sigh out of resignation. Poor boy. Looks like the coast is clear, so why don't you head back to your room and get some shut-eye?
Yes. Thank you, Heisuke. Good night.
I bowed at Heisuke and snuck quietly back into the compound towards my bedroom. While navigating the dim hallway back to my room, the echo of Harada's words bounced around my head. According to Harada, I was breaking my back doing everything I could for the Shinsengumi. That even if I were a demon, I was still a human being. He even pleaded with Sana not to let me endure pain and suffering on behalf of his research. He said all of this and more. Harada was always so considerate, so it wasn't beyond the realm of reason to think he wouldn't have said the same thing about anyone else. Oh, girl! She keeps getting her hopes up. I'm like, no, I'm sure it doesn't mean anything. Don't get your hopes up now. I've had these conversations in my head way too many times, too. I get you, girl. I know where it's coming from. He likely realized that Sanan's behavior had caused me great stress, and so he took it upon himself to see that my grievances were addressed appropriately. Like before, I was cautious to get my hopes up. Oh, girl. No matter how cheerful his words made me feel, as a demon it only hurt me to pine for something more. All because someday Harada eventually would find love with a woman of his own kind. Aw, girl, no! Oh, girl, no. It's interesting. So, I don't know if she'll have these thoughts with anyone else. Because I'm wondering if, with the other guys being Furies, if that hasn't really been a thing she's thought about. Like, maybe she feels they're closer than when it's just a human. Because she's like, I am a demon, and you're a human. I don't know. It's interesting. But she's like, well, I'm a freak. I'm a freaky monster. Huh. I'm really enjoying this. Oh, here we go. They could forge a life together with the rest of human society, unburdened by what I had to offer. But sometimes it was nice to indulge in a daydream. As long as I made sure to keep my feelings hidden, then maybe harboring a little crush would be harmless. Playfully tending to the thoughts budding in my heart, I tucked myself into my futon to rest. Aw, Chizuru. I feel you, girl. I feel you so much. I know there's nothing, he doesn't mean anything by it, but I got a crush. I can think about it, right? Oh, so cute. Hijikata returned the next day, informing us that he made arrangements for us to move our headquarters in a mansion owned by one of the Hatamoto. Thus, we were ordered to relocate from Kama Inn to this new location. According to Hijikata, all of you cretins have been letting your standards slip ever since we've been living at Kama Inn. Fair. Nagakora, as well as the men who frequently joined him for drinks in Edo, suddenly whipped into shape. Sanan, too, had a noticeable change in his behavior the minute Hijikata set foot back in the compounds. And for me, the most positive bit of news was... we going on dates?
Greetings, everyone! I apologize for worrying you, but I am happy for the full recovery of my shoulder.
Kondo, who served as the Shinsengumi's central pillar, had returned to the fold. I like that she's the most excited about Kondo coming back. Hey!
In regards to our war with the Satsuma Choshu, the shogunate has ordered us to march to Kofu Castle under the new name, the Koyo Regulatory Company. While our public objective is to intercept the flow of Satsuma Choshu troops funneling into Edo, as well as keep the perimeter around Kofu Castle safe, our true objective is to lay siege at Kofu Castle. If our mission proves successful, then the shogunate has promised that we can keep Kofu Castle. Keep on your toes, everyone! Prepare for battle!
Kofu Castle? The possibility of living in such lavish accommodations was an unimaginable thought to me as someone who lived her entire life as a commoner. Kondo, on the other hand, was beaming, his eyes glowing with childlike wonder.
Yes, yes. As if the shogunate hadn't honored me enough, they have bestowed upon me a new name. It is Tsuyoshi Okubo. What do all of you think? Rather dashing, isn't it? But then again, it will take some time before I get accustomed to being called Lord Okubo.
So cute.
Tell you what, since all of us are familiar with each other as it is, I would have no problem with you continuing to refer to me by my original name.
Kondo could hardly contain his excitement. What had complicated things, however, was... yeah. A combined triple dot. Both Harada and Nagakora were scowling in the corner, partaking in none of Kondo's rabid enthusiasm.
From henceforth, I am no longer merely a samurai from the country. I am now a legitimate daimyo. For anyone willing to stick his neck above and beyond the call of duty, I promise to promote you to the rank of my retainer. Give it your all, you hear me?
For Kondo, his triumphant return coincided with the proudest moment in his entire life. However, hearing him make mention of the word retainer didn't sit well with me for some reason. We've been influenced.
Alright, men, everyone to your stations! Dismissed!
Kondo walked out of the hall with a spring in his step, practically whistling as he exited. Hijikata, however, wore a pensive expression, slowly following 2 paces behind Kondo. Interesting.
Damn it! Who'd that guy think he was back there? What, now he's supposed to be a daimyo or something?
Nagakora was fuming, his leg throbbing after having kicked a nearby wooden desk in an act of indignation.
And where the hell does he get off saying, promote you? Does he think he owns us or something now? All that old man's got to his name is a rinky-dink dojo. The identity of the Shinsengumi is shifting, however, from that of a band of Ronin to something more formal. The chief has officially been promoted to the rank of Executive Lieutenant Minister as well. It seems as though the line between us and men of his ilk is becoming drawn in the sand, as it were. I couldn't give less of a shit about status or men of his ilk. Kondo's always gonna be Kondo. We didn't call the guy our leader because we wanted him to pay us back in return. But now he's gonna spit in our faces like that?
Both Nagakora and Harada belonged to a group of Shinsengumi members that had fiercely supported Kondo during their more juvenile days in Edo. As the group gained in popularity and in numbers, so too did their affinity for closeness and brotherly love grow as well. Watching all they worked towards disintegrate in front of them, with no immediate recourse, surely disturbed both Harada and Nagakora greatly. Yeah. Another Edo sunset pooled into the horizon. After completing my chores for the afternoon, I returned to the common room for some rest. Oh, Harada. Is it only you here? Where is Nagakora?
Last I saw of him, he was still ranting about earlier. Bet you anything he's getting deadbeat drunk in some bar right now, still mouthing off.
I see. So, what do you make of all of this, Harada? What Kondo said in the meeting, I mean. Harada laughed dryly, shifting his weight to the left as he slumped his shoulders.
To tell you the truth, what he said back there really bummed me out. There's no place for daimyo anymore in this day and age. It's also pointless, really. The shogun deferred power back to the imperial court ages ago. What we used to refer to as the Takagawa shogunate is really nothing more than a scattering of domains.
Harada was making a lot of sense. Kondo's giddiness over his newly promoted title was understandable, and it endeared me to watch someone celebrate the culmination of their life's work.
To some of us in the Shinsengumi, status is more of a curse than a gift, honestly.
Are you talking about Nagakura?
You guessed him. I know it's a little hard to believe, but Shinpachi's got himself a pretty prestigious family. Gotta give it to him. He put swordsmanship above his name. Gave up everything to become a lordless samurai. He wasn't in it for the fame or the money, or anything stupid like that.
Harada's recollection made me think. Kondo had been so focused on becoming a daimyo. It seemed he lost sight of what made him, and the rest of the men who followed him, special.
You know, to be quite honest, I'm starting to think the Shinsengumi's losing the plot a little bit too. At least for me, I've no interest in becoming a lord and waving my fancy quills with a stick up my ass. Talk about a dilemma.
Even back when I was still getting to know the Shinsengumi in Kyoto, there were tense moments where men wouldn't see eye to eye about things. This, however, was something else entirely, and it was unclear to me how much they believed they could weather this unprecedented storm. Can I ask you a question?
What is it?
It's about... Oh yeah, I think we know that. Like, I mean, we don't know what it is currently. That's kind of muddy. It's been muddied because of the war and everything. Let's just talk about our boy. What do you want out of all of this, Harada? Harada jumped, seemingly caught off guard by the brazenness of my question. Look, I want to know. I know you're gonna move soon.
Huh? That sure came out of nowhere.
I don't think we've ever talked about it. Aw, he's blushing.
Oh, well, you know. Just the same as what everyone else wants.
Gaining status on the battlefield?
No. Well, nothing like that.
Oh, then would you like to open a dojo and become an instructor?
I've actually got no business sense at all. And I'm not sure how I'd like the responsibility of being a master either.
Then what is it? Please, tell me. I had never seen Harada fidget so much in conversation. Yeah, I know, he's usually so cool and collected. His dream was proving to be quite the mystery. Come on, tell her that she's your dream. He entered a period of deep thought, wearing a troubled expression the whole time.
You'd better not say a thing to Shinpachi or Heisuke. Knowing the two of them, if they'd heard what my one wish is from all of this, they'd never let me hear the end of it.
Of course. Fingers crossed. I wouldn't tell a soul.
Really? Alright, you promised.
After reassuring himself once more that I wasn't going to tell anyone, Harada bashfully scratched the back of his head, hesitant to open his mouth. Nice.
What I want is to meet a beautiful woman, start a family with her, and find a real quaint place to live a nice, quiet life.
I know a real quaint place. Just saying. I don't know if I meet your standards of beauty, but I think Chizuru does. Eh?
As far as money stuff goes, I'd probably try and make enough so that she wouldn't have to lift a finger.
It awed me to hear such a wholesome, family-oriented wish for the future coming from out of Harada's mouth. So wholesome.
Yeah. Probably shouldn't get my hopes up, should I?
Huh? Well, I've never heard a man express interest in something like that before. It's just a little surprising to hear, is all. All he'd wanted out of life was to marry the woman he loved and live a simple, quaint life. Hearing him speak so humbly about his aspirations was something I regarded fondly. Especially since it came from Harada, who, to no surprise, always seemed to have another dimension to himself.
I mean, I know myself. I've got a hot head, and ever since I was a kid, I'd get into scuffles which got me into a lot of trouble. I couldn't tell you how many times I'd come close to taking a man's life out there. I just remember being a stupid kid, and one of the older boys took me under his wing, like a brother.
Huh. So cute. Look at young Harada. He's just a kid. Who's that guy, though? Got questions.
He was just a tank, bigger than all the rest of the kids, and had a pretty strong fist to boot. For the longest time, I looked up to him. But the rat race gets tiring after a while, especially if you're on top. Everyone wants to be the guy who took down the toughest warrior in town. So he gave it all up. He married himself a Geigi, had a family with her, and last I heard he was living in some countryside with his wife and kids.
Wow. A woman who works with clientele for private entertainment services. She uses cultural dances or plays musical instruments for her customers. Also known as a geisha or geiko outside of Kyoto.
When they told me, I thought to myself, there's no way I could ever grow up and do something like that. But here I am, years later, thinking about how nice the grass must be out there, what a family's like.
I don't think there's anything strange about that.
Hmm?
I mean, you're a wonderful man, Harada. I'm sure whomever you choose to be your wife is going to be very lucky to have found you. Aww.
Chizuru.
Harada looked at me in astonishment, like he had no idea whether or not I was being serious, but then... Yeah. You are pretty wonderful. No, I was being sincere. I wasn't actually thinking about me in this case. I'm not gonna object, but I'm just saying, I was actually just saying a truthful statement is all. Meh.
Were you coming on to me?
Huh?
Right over your head, huh? Never mind. Thanks, kid. Maybe you're right. Maybe something like that really could happen someday.
And there we go. Yay! He softly patted the top of my head with his hand. First head pad of Edo blossoms. Oh. My heart fluttered wildly in my chest. Everything I said to him came from the heart. I truly believe that his wife, whomever she was, would have been the luckiest woman in the world. But even if, one day, Harada were to go through with his dream of settling down and raising a family, I was certain that the woman standing beside him was never going to be me, but another woman, one of his own kind. Because I was a demon. A trait that I worryingly acknowledge would eventually be passed on to my child as well. It's too bad, you know, that she views her demon heritage as, you know, a monster and a curse. And it's like, it's just a bad thing that's going to be passed down if she has a family as well. Because I know that she's run into, like, Chikage and Amagiri and Shiranui. And they're bad, from her point of view right now, like, they're bad news. But she also knows Sen and Kimigiku. And they're perfectly nice, you know? So it's like, it's not, your blood doesn't define who you are. Oh, it's so sad, though. I like that Harada's always like, you're not any different from me. Always. He needs to just keep reminding her. Oh, poor Chizuru. If that were to happen, then the quaint, ideal life that Harada envisioned could never happen.
Hey, what's the matter? Why the long face? Are you feeling anxious again?
No, it's nothing. I am not one of his kind. I am a demon. And even so, Harada was so patient and tender. It was as if he could read my exact mood intuitively. That alone was enough for me. Anything more would be selfish, and anything beyond that would be impossible. So, for now, I must keep my distance. Segue. Hey, I was wondering, will Sanan be joining us to Kofu as well?
Oh yeah, we have to deal with that, huh? I'll have a chat with Hijikata later. Don't worry. I'll make sure he never gets you in a room alone.
Thank you. Between the internal conflicts bubbling within the Shinsengumi and the fast-approaching conflict bubbling in Kofu, there was so much to think about. But for now, I could take solace in Harada's secure watch over me, which was enough to ease my restless mind in these troubling times.